What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of 30 Minutes with a Millionaire. If you're new to the channel or new to this series, every single week, God willing, we've been doing them pretty consistent, but every single week we like to go live for 30 minutes. They're usually an hour, over an hour. I don't know why we call this 30 Minutes with a Millionaire, but I like to go live and just answer questions that the community has, help you guys get unstuck in your business, help you guys break past these different hurdles and obstacles that you may have in your business so you can get to the next level. If you're part of the family and you've already been around the channel, then you know our number one goal is to help you increase your income, impact, as well as your influence. This is the largest channel when it comes to private label and building a brand and selling on Amazon. So I'm super excited to spend the next 30 minutes to an hour with you guys. Again, the only question that is dumb is a question that's not asked. So for future calls, make sure you come prepared with your questions so we can help you get to the next level. If you're watching the replay, there is tons of value in here. Skip forward a few minutes until the questions start coming in. Make sure you have a pen, a piece of paper, something to take notes with, because note takers are money makers. Super excited about this. By the way, also, if you guys are starting your online Amazon business or starting your brand, or you have one and you want to learn what 7-figure, 8-figure, and even 9-figure businesses and brands are doing, make sure you check out our YouTube exclusive series, which is 7-figure product series. Every single week, we are releasing a YouTube exclusive, YouTube only video series where we are literally diving deep and pulling back the curtains on successful brands that are selling and generating over 7 figures worth of sales with just one product. Hence, in the AMZ formula, we talk about you're only one product away. So guys, I'm going to open up the floor to you guys now. Any questions that you guys have, whether you're new, you're getting ready to get started, you have questions about the business, you're started, you're stuck. Let's go ahead and get through these questions and see how we can help serve you guys at the highest level. Awesome. Cool. Francisco says, what's the best tool for product research? So this is a really good question. So there's tons of tools for product research, and this is one of the frequently asked questions we have. By the way, guys, if you guys are starting out, we have a playlist with tons of beginner questions and frequently asked questions like how to get started, how to do product research, how to start an Amazon account, what you need to start an Amazon account, can you sell from anywhere in the United States? So definitely check that playlist out. However, when it comes to doing product research, there's tons of different softwares out there, and I just want to be transparent. A lot of them all do the same stuff, right? So for someone who is in the development of a software themselves, like I can tell you this transparently, the big difference are going to be, the tools, and are going to be the data and access to the data points within the software. So two of the biggest ones are going to be Jungle Scout and going to be Helium 10. I've been using Jungle Scout for years. I'm an affiliate for Jungle Scout, so whenever I promote it, of course, we get compensated. We do have a link for a discount on Jungle Scout. It's discountonjunglescout.com. One of the things, knowing those guys over there, it is not the most robust tool. I think Helium 10 has a majority of all these plugins and additional features. So there's pros and cons to that. Like, having access to all these tools, not all of them are necessary, so it can be confusing to someone who's starting out or to someone who's not really tech savvy, right? One thing, or a few things I will say about Jungle Scout is it's a very simple, user-friendly tool and series of tools. There's only a few tools, but they are like very powerful and efficient tools. There's not a bunch of like fluff tools in there. Another thing is, since they're one of the OGs, they had access, and I learned this when developing, our software and working on our software, which is still in development, just because I'm constantly always adding, and it's just never met my expectations. Like Amazon's APIs is constantly changing, and what Amazon allows you to tap into their API and data to get is constantly changing, refining, and being reduced. So one thing I will say about Jungle Scout is they have access to probably some of the oldest data. And when they started, Amazon had a lot less API restrictions, so they could get more data. So once you collect that data, it's in their internal database. So they probably, and again, this is my personal opinion, I don't know everybody's databases and product amounts within their softwares, but I would assume they have the largest amount of data, right? So it just depends what you're looking for. Are you looking for more tools? Are you looking for easy to use? Are you looking for largest amount of products in inventory? So these are a few things, but other than that, with that being out there, a lot of the tools all do the same stuff. They work the same way. So it's all about personal preference. Here on the channel for the last several years, I started with Jungle Scout. I teach Jungle Scout. I've contemplated teaching other tools, but I just don't want to confuse the viewers. Like, they all do the same stuff. So if you want to try a few out as a user, that's cool. But like, be completely honest, like a lot of people that you're going to see on YouTube are like talking about tools, and they're saying it's the best tool because they get incentivized and they're affiliate marketers and they're getting paid. So like, of course I get paid to promote Jungle Scout, but genuinely, and I'm going to be completely honest also, like while we're on this topic, Jungle Scout probably pays the worst commission in the industry. So I make the least amount of money promoting Jungle Scout. So it's just the tool that I used and the tool I've taught for years, right? So again, full transparency. Sweet. Hey, JC, do I need to file a separate trademark request for my logo and separate trademark filing for my brand name? Cool. So the trademark is pretty much going to cover like the basic intellectual property, and you can file different trademarks. So I would focus on, and usually when we file the trademark, like it's the name, the logo, and then if you're going to have like slogans and variations, then you would want to talk to an expert and see if it's going to be copyrights that you want to file or additional trademarks. So I'm not really too savvy with the trademarks and the copyrights. You can get questions answered for free when it comes to like Rocket Lawyer, LegalZoom. We have a third-party team that we work with that's phenomenal, that help you get trademarks, help you get your LLCs and everything. So if you need access to that resource, we can put a link down below, or you can email support@theamzformula.com and ask for our LLC resources or our trademark or copyright resources. We'd be glad to give you our contact over there. But I will say this, trademarks are very important. Usually trademark is going to be the logo and the generic or main theme. So when you think of Starbucks, you think of Starbucks and you think of like the mermaid looking thing, like in a circle. That would be the trademark. Or when you think of Nike, you think of the check mark and you think of Nike, that would be one trademark. And there are different types of trademarks. So again, you want to talk to a trademark attorney and see what's best for what you're doing. However, the most important thing when you're starting an online Amazon business is getting that trademark so you can get access to what's called a brand registry. Now, again, and I want to be very clear, like, because I don't think a lot of people are clear in the industry. Amazon wants to work with real brands. So there's several different strategies and different business models to selling on Amazon. You have private label, which is brand building. You have wholesale, which is selling brands where you become a distributor and you sell brands. You purchase them below MSRP. You sell them at MSRP. And then you have arbitrage, which the difference between arbitrage and wholesale is you're a distributor. You're buying sustainably in bulk for below MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail pricing. You're selling at MSRP, and your spread in the difference is your profit. Arbitrage is not sustainable because you're buying discounted product below MSRP from third-party sellers or third-party networks or even stores. You're then selling them at MSRP and keeping the spread. For instance, if I physically go into Target and I buy a product that's selling on Amazon lower than what it's selling on Amazon at MSRP and sell it at MSRP, I would keep the difference. That's retail arbitrage because I'm physically going to a store. Online arbitrage is the same theory or the same principle, but now I'm doing it online. Instead of going to Target or going to Walmart, I'm going online and then I'm ordering them and then sending them out. Now, the last model is going to be drop shipping. This is one of the ones that Amazon frowns down on the most. And a lot of people like drop shipping because it's fast, it's easy, like it's fast to make money, it's very easy. However, things that are fast usually don't last, and things that are easy usually have a lot of competition, right? Because if there's no barrier to entry and you can be anywhere in the world with no money just drop shipping, think about how many thousands of people and like millions and millions of people are drop shipping, right? There's only about 2.5 million sellers on Amazon, right? And a majority of them are all doing the same stuff. So when you separate yourself from the competition, you really have an advantage, right? So Amazon really wants you selling brands. So the three legitimate business models are going to be arbitrage, wholesale, and private label. Like what we're seeing is Amazon really is coming up with new regulations and new tools and resources and adding to the terms of service to the fact where they literally only want wholesalers, like big distributors, and they want private label brands that are building and using Amazon as a partner, right? They really don't want a bunch of arbitrage people flipping. That's why eBay still exists. Like eBay's more for the flipping scene. And then you have Etsy and all these other sites, like, and they don't like drop shipping because they don't want you buying stuff from their competitor and using them to fulfill, because they don't really make money on the fulfillment. They make money on the LTV partnership of you selling on Amazon and then the clients buying stuff on Amazon, buying other stuff, and then utilizing their subsidiaries like Prime Video and Kindle and all of this other stuff, right? So those are the different strategies to selling on Amazon, the ones Amazon's prioritizing. And when it comes to Trademark, what you should, prioritize. Again, when you have access to brand registry as a brand registered brand, you have access to a potential, like a huge potential of unfair advantages. One of the biggest ones is if you don't have a trademark, technically somebody could infringe intellectually on your brand or your product, and legally you don't have a say because you're selling what's called a generic product. Like if you get a generic product and you slap a logo on it and you slap a brand on there and that logo and that brand's not trademarked, you're just slapping random stuff on a box, right? Like you can go slap Nike on a box and try to resell Nike, but you're going to get sued for intellectual property infringement. You're infringing on a licensed product or a trademarked product. So if you come up with a real cool, unique name and a real cool, unique logo, and it's not trademarked, and you're in an industry where there's a huge potential, the downside is somebody could see this, check the USPTO records, which is the U.S. Patent Trademark Offices, notice that you don't have intellectual property, and they could literally go steal all your hard work. They could steal your logo, steal your brand, steal your color SKUs, and then launch your product, and there's nothing legitimately or legally that you could do, right? So number one, that's one of the biggest. Number two, people can sell within your brand. So again, Amazon wants you selling brands. So if you go to Aquafina, and this isn't sponsored by Aquafina, I'm just using them as an example, but if you go to Aquafina, there may be a dozen people selling under Aquafina. Well, why is there a dozen sellers? These are distributors or wholesalers who buy large quantities in bulk below MSRP and sell at MSRP. That's their business. And this is how they could grow, because if they only sold it themselves, they would have to sell significantly more than other distributors buying and reselling for them. So the large companies, they get into distributorship, right? However, they're getting paid, right? Because they're buying the product and they're selling product, and it is like legitimately their product. However, if you have a product, let's just say like this phone holder, which I use to hold up my top selling book, One Product Away, which you should get because it's free, by the way, shameless plug. But if this is the product and I was selling this product and I didn't have a trademarked brand and it wasn't tied to that ASIN or that SKU or that Amazon listing, and a competitor found and identified that, they could literally go find a product, get a generic product that's crap, that's cheaper than yours, sell it under your listing, and literally sabotage your listing by getting a bunch of horrible reviews, but they get all the money. So they would get all the money and they wouldn't have any of the reputational risk of bad reviews. We call this hijacking, right? Or sometimes they're referred to as pirates or pirating a listing, right? And so when you have access to brand registry and you have that trademark, well, there's an internal review process and department that Amazon has where you can say, well, hey, this guy started selling under my listing, but I don't have any distributors. So it's not legitimate. It's not our product. And Amazon will remove them immediately. However, if you don't have a trademark, there's no proof that they generally are not selling your product. Now it's a generic product and they're selling a generic product. So again, they're making all the money. They can come onto your listing, undercut your price, get the buy box, sell a crappy product, drive your reputation down, so you're at reputational risk of having low reviews, and they pocket all the money. So that's the huge benefit, is you're protecting your brand and your reputation of your brand, number one, and you're able to remove these hijackers or these pirates. Number two, you have access to what we call A+ content or EBC, which is enhanced brand content. When you have access to A+ content or enhanced brand content, now you have access to this unfair vault of tools, such as the A+ content, which is going to be videos, pictures, carousels, cross-promotional products that are going to be on your listing. So if you've ever went to an Amazon listing, clicked on it, and you scroll down, you're like, wow, they have like all these other products that they sell on a carousel, and they have videos, and they have pictures, and they have like long format funnel-style content. Like, what's up with that? They're trademarked and they're a part of brand registry. Now, Brand registry is free to apply for, and typically you can get approved in less than 7 days. The downside is you have to have a trademark. So the thing about trademarks is they can be expensive depending on the brand, the category, the type of trademark. It can take anywhere from 6 months to over a year, right? So there's no cookie cutter on time frame. However, there's a beta program through Amazon at the time of recording this video where it's called a, I forget the name of the partner program, but you can see it on your Seller Central dashboard, or you can email support about it, where you can actually get a trademark through an Amazon preferred lawyer member or partner. And if you do that, once you pay them and you have proof that the process is starting and the trademark is pending in the USPTO, they will give you access to EBC plus A+ content plus brand registry, which means your intellectual property is protected and you unlock all those extra tools and resources for free that I just mentioned. The downside that I have heard dealing with our clients and internally us doing this is it does cost more. But if you think about it, I believe it's worth it if you don't have a trademark already coming into the business, because the amount of revenue that you will make in the long term through having access to that enhanced brand content, increasing your conversion to people that are landing on your page, and the protection. Because if you have an amazing product, amazing brand, and it's not trademarked, and you have like Chinese sellers coming on, ripping off your listing, or other people just mischievously coming on and just pimping out your listing, and you get horrible review ratings, it's going to be hard to combat that and do the HR necessary to fix those reviews. So they could really damage your listing and damage your brand. So you have to think about those things as well. So in the long run, I think it's worth, paying the money if you have access to it. Great question.
Someone on Instagram asked, what do you think of Viral Launch versus Jungle Scout?
So the question is on Instagram is, what do you think about the difference between Viral Launch? I'm saying, what is it? Viral Launch and
What's your take on Viral Launch versus Jungle Scout?
Viral Launch and Jungle Scout. So I think the founder of Viral Launch was Casey, and he's in Indianapolis. I think the company is funded in Indianapolis. I used to live in Indiana, so the company was doing very well. I think they took Casey out. I don't know if he sold his position or what the backstory is, but I do know, like, several years ago it was Jungle Scout and Viral Launch. I think Viral Launch is still, viable. Again, all these softwares do the same stuff, but I think they kind of like became a little bit complacent in the marketplace. Right now, like, my personal opinion is Helium 10 and Jungle Scout are like the two biggest right now that I've personally reviewed. There's probably more out there I have not reviewed personally. But maybe, like, because a lot of people ask this, maybe what we'll do is I'll buy like the top 5 and I'll review them and I'll show you live how to use them, because there's no software like where you have to use this software to be most successful. A lot of people saying that on YouTube, they're just affiliates. And to be completely honest, a lot of affiliates are going to do what's smart for them, which is go with the software that makes them the most amount of money. Again, I've been teaching this since 2016, 2017. I've been teaching in this industry. I've been in the industry since 2015. I've used Jungle Scout. They were the oldest. And like I said, they have the worst affiliate compensation. Like, hopefully they're not watching this. That sounds horrible, but I just want you guys to understand, like, I'm not promoting you guys what pays me the most, because like Helium 10 actually pays double what Jungle Scout pays in affiliate commissions. I've used the tool. Like, my honest opinion is just confusing. There's just too much stuff. But if you want access to extra stuff and extra tools and stuff, by all means, like, it works. I don't think the software is that important. I think what's more important is coming up with a strategy to start the business, to start the brand, to identify a product, and how to identify a product, because you can use all these different softwares and find these products, but if you don't know how to do your due diligence to find a product and then pre-vet the product prior to launching the product, and you don't have a post-launch strategy, you can have an amazing product and an amazing software and be able to find an amazing product. But if you can't identify it and then launch it effectively, I think that's more important than the software or the tool. Just my personal opinion again, by the way. I lost track on the questions, man. Where are we at? What do you suggest is the best way to get into the beauty products? So I have a lot of knowledge in beauty products. I started in beauty products. I think, like, and again, this is going to be my biased, like, personal opinion. Like, a lot of people want to get into beauty products because they're passionate about the industry. Like, if the reason why you want to get into that industry is because you're passionate about that industry, I would literally do generic, open-minded research to find a product and a brand that has the potential to make you more money. potential of products in the beauty industry are going to be competitive. The margins are going to be thinner. Margins in beauty can be extremely high, but you have to set yourself authoritatively as like a high premium product. And it's very difficult to launch products in the beauty industry that are higher priced than all the other competition, especially when you have like Olave. What is it? Olave. What is that brand called? Olave. I can't think of the name of the product, but there's tons of products that like Walmart carries and like JCPenney carries that are very, very affordable and good quality. It's very difficult to have a boutique style brand or a high ticket brand without spending a lot of money on marketing. So again, my personal opinion, I've done it. I've done the high end, I've done wholesale, I've done distributors, I've done partnerships, and I have friends that have successful beauty brands. So I have a vast amount of knowledge. You can definitely get into the beauty brand. Where you want to be at is you want to be positioned as a high ticket, high tier boutique style beauty brand. It is difficult. It takes a little bit longer to do that. It takes a little bit more marketing budget to do that. And you don't want to just do marketing within PPC, because you have to think like people custom on Amazon, like they want a great price, great value, fast shipping. That's kind of like what they're accustomed to and what Amazon preaches. So when it comes to starting, a beauty brand, I would just think about those different things. Like when it comes to a beauty brand, a culture, a group, there's one of two ways effectively to do this. If I was to start on over, and again, like I know personally the founder of BoxyCharm, he sold for a lot of money. I was personally in the beauty brand starting myself. I had a retail and a wholesale brand. So my personal opinion, if I was to start, it'd be one of two things. I would partner with an influencer or a face, right, who has brand notoriety and depth of market and has an audience, or I would create a group or a cult or a culture, right? Cult is the pretense of culture, and I would go that route. So BoxyCharm is an example of culture, right? And then a brand ambassador and strategist like me partnering with somebody like a Kim or a Khloe Kardashian would be the face, right? Because they're not the brains behind the product. They're the face of the product, and they have the brand depth, and they have the notoriety, and they have the list and the social media following, and then they can just go partner with a company who's someone like me that would do the strategy behind the packaging, the fulfillment, the pricing structures, the products, and then the distribution, right? So that's two ways to do it. If you don't have an influencer or the budget to partner with an influencer or don't want to give equity to an influencer, then think about the community. The community is huge. And like I could teach for this on an hour because I love this stuff, but I will say the biggest things to a culture, like for instance, I use BoxyCharm again. Like he absolutely crushed it with that business model. A few things about that business model that I like. Number one, he built a culture that was very strong. And that's something that I was doing in our beauty brand. And number two, he built in high continuity. I love continuity because continuity is predictable income. Continuity is like subscribe and save on Amazon or residual subscription-based businesses. I believe that that's a really smart model when it comes to the beauty industry, because beauty products, most of them are going to be consumables or topicals, which once they're ran out, they need to be replenished. They need to be reused. When you're done with soap, you need another soap bar. When you're done with shampoo, you need more shampoo. When you're done with conditioner, so on and so forth, you need more. So if you do a good job of the packaging and the product solves a problem and it's affordable or at a fair value. Remember, value comes when the value of the product is lower than the price. So people will pay high tier product pricing. However, price is only objection when value is absent. So if you're going to like try to outsource bull crap and like not work with engineers and not work with scientists and not build your stuff in an FDA approved lab and like really do testing appropriately to come up with the best like products and the best ingredients that are derived from specific areas of the world that are going to offer specific things, and you're just going to try to make a ton of money, like it's not going to be sustainable, number one. Number two, you're not going to be able to offer a premium. Like you're not going to be able to whip this stuff up in your kitchen on your spare time, put it in nice packaging and sell it for a premium. There's just not going to be repeat purchases unless you're throwing this behind an influencer who has years of trust. Trust comes from a few different options or a few different ways, right? People get to know, like, or trust you. So if you're a brand and you're starting a brand, no one knows you because you're new. You don't have a lot of reviews. You don't have depth of mark. they can like you, they can like the packaging, they can like the marketing, they can like the ingredients. However, that like can turn to hate very quickly when they receive your product, right? And then trust comes from, this is what my product does, this is what I say it's going to do, this is how I priced it, this is the vision, this is the culture that we're building. You receive it and they're symmetrical and there's no lack of congruency. So when you can do that effectively, and again, perfect example, like BoxyCharm crushed that. Dollar Shave Club crushed that. Another brand that I know personally that we've worked with is like Dr. Squatch Soap. He crushed that. There's a culture, right? Like BoxyCharm, they call their culture, the people within their culture, charmers, right? Like people are happy to be a part of that organization. They did lives. And when they did lives, it just wasn't the one influencer. It was a male. It was a female. It was different, different people doing stuff for different people throughout their organizations. Very, very smart. Dr. Squatch, he primarily focuses on men beauty products or like soap, handmade soap, beard wash, stuff like that. He's marketing directly to men and they're putting a lot of content out around there. So any brand, and again, like people ask me, can this brand be successful? Can this product be successful? Can this niche become successful? Which category is the best for most success? All products on Amazon sell. Any product you find can be sold. There's two variables that you have to look at. Number one, what is your risk tolerance? Risk tolerance can be dollar value. Risk tolerance can be time frames. Risk tolerance could be how many times are you going to have to throw away all your inventory to make something that is appropriate or make something that meets your vision. All these different factors can go into risk tolerance. And then you have to look at it like, what is your vision? Is your vision just to create quick cash flow? If so, generic products will work. Is your vision to sell a beauty brand at a high multiple? If so, well then which direction to take. So I think where a lot of the frustration and failure within this company and within this not company, but within this business model, it comes from unclear and unrealistic expectations and people not being educated. Like I can only educate as much. Like we have more videos on this channel on private label and branding than any other YouTube channel. We check every single week. That's a fact. And we try to educate. And like one of the things I'm constantly telling people is you have to have, like your mindset has to be in the right place, number one. Number two, you have to have clear expectations on what can you invest? Like not what can you gamble and you need to like quantifiably like make a return on tomorrow. Like what can you invest? What is investing and how does that work? Like what's an appropriate time frame for my return? What type of business do I want? Like what is the 3 or 5 year goal? Like my friend Alex Hormozy always talks about starting your business how you would end your business, right? Like if we started our life how we want our life to be when we ended our life or on our deathbed, our life would be considerably different right now. However, we progressively like to change. So in your business, don't progressively change your business model. Start your business and your business model how you want it to end, right? Is this going to be something you pass down? Is this going to be something you exit? Like what is the ultimate goal? And when you answer all these questions and you're very specific, and these are things that we do with our investors, these are things that we do with our partners, these are things that we do with our clients, and these are things that I do myself. If I was going to start a brand, these are questions I'm asking myself. How much access to capital can I put into this thing? How long can I withstand or sustain this thing not bleeding money? Because if your goal to start a business is to make money as fast as humanly possible, you don't need to start a business. You need to start a hustle or find something to create you revenue fast until you have enough money to invest. Because when you invest, the outcome of an investment is an ROI, which is return on investment. And that's ultimately what we want. But in order to have an ROI, there has to be what we call a seed phase. So the objective of planting a seed is reaping a harvest. And we all know, and without a shadow of doubt, it takes time, not days, not weeks, sometimes months, sometimes years for a seedling to turn into a tree, which can then harvest fruit. So if we understand that and we won't argue with that, why will we argue starting a business and it taking a year to receive a fruit of your labor or a monetary return? So I think that there's a lot of people that don't understand or don't have realistic expectations coming into the business. There's a lot of people that just paint a vivid picture of like do nothing and you're going to get rich. Like, of course, like this business can be sustainable, it can be automated, but do you have access to the funds? Do you have access to the risk tolerance? Like these are all variables as an educated investor and business owner that you want to ask yourself. How do I calculate break-even point for Amazon FBA? Very good question. Should I break that down on the whiteboard? What do you think? Okay, so, all right, let's go to the whiteboard really quick. And I got to start blitzing through these questions because my goal is to make sure that nobody's questions go unasked. So can they see the whiteboard? All right, cool. Bro, you got all the secret jazz up here that they're not supposed to see. Don't mind those $1 million business ideas that I had on here. You didn't see that. So how do we calculate the break even of an Amazon business, right? So you have to think about the core components. When you think about the core components of this business, number one, you have goods or products, right? Goods or products. You then have logistics, which is going to be your shipping and logistics costs, packaging, shipping, customs, tariffs, all of that stuff, if you are importing internationally or deporting the product, right? So you have goods, you have products, you have shipping, you have FBA fees. Now, when we're talking about Amazon specifically, we have what's called FBA fees. FBA is an acronym that stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. These fees is for Amazon doing everything. It's the easiest way to think about this. Amazon is going to do everything. They're going to store the product, pick the product, pack the product, ship the product. They're going to pay for shipping. They're going to pay for packaging. They're going to handle returns, distribution, all of that. And then you have advertising, okay? ADV is a short acronym for advertising. These are your 4 key components to the business, and these will all cost you money at different stages. So how do we calculate break even? So first and foremost, we want to identify. Can I get rid of this over here? Okay, cool. We want to identify what is the breakdown for these. So let's say that we find a product that's selling 10 per day, right? Now, the reason why I always say 10 is this is starting. If we can find a product that's selling 10 units per day at $10 profit, that's $100 per day times 28 months for the statistical average of the months and the days in a month. That's going to be 28. 100 times 28 would be around $2,800. It's safe to say that $2,800 will change a majority of people in the United States or the world's life, right? You can quit your job. You can sustain your job. It's supplemental income. So I always start there. You can do significantly higher. And of course, there can be lower that is still a win, right? But for the example, we're just going to use that. So 10 units per day. Let's say that your sourcing cost for the manufacturing of your goods is $3 per product, okay? $3 per product. Then we want to look at shipping, right? Shipping is going to be your logistics. How much does it cost to get each one of these units shipped? So what we don't do is we don't do it a per unit, but I'm going to show you how to reverse engineer this so you can come up with your total break even. If we're ordering, let's say 300 products at $3, 300 times 3 would be 900. Our shipment cost would be 900. Then we want to come up with the freight cost. Now there's several different ways to ship to Amazon. Well, there's 2 to be exact. You have air, you have sea. And then when you have air and you have sea, then you have EXW, you have FOB, which is freight on board, and you have DDP, which is direct to port. So without going super technical and confusing all of you guys, there's 2 ways to ship. Air, fast, crazy expensive. Sea, longer, more affordable, and what majority of people use, right? Then you have all these different types of shipping. EXW, where it's going to be your cheapest to ship, but the manufacturer has no responsibility. You have to get the product picked up, packed, shipped, handle tariffs, taxations, get it to the port, get it received international. That's going to be your cheapest, what we recommend for ginormous orders. You have FOB, which is going to be freight on board. Now, your supplier is responsible for getting the product on board, whether it be the plane or the boat, right? And then you have DDP. DDP is the most expensive and what I recommend for beginners for their test orders because the supplier has all of the responsibility. You do nothing. The supplier is responsible for getting it to Amazon. That's a quick breakdown. So let's say we're doing, let's just say we're doing FOB, hypothetically speaking, for this example. And for our inventory for 300 units, right? Let's do 300 times $3 equals 900. Okay, now let's say to get these 300 products shipped, let's just say it costs $1 per product and it costs $300. These are just hypothetical numbers, okay? So what I like to do is I like to add both of these together. So the cost per product and then total ship. What I like to do is I like to add these together. which equals $1,200, right? You guys follow me down below? Say yes. That's $1,200. Now, that $1,200 now becomes COGS. And you guys want to become familiar with these acronyms and this terminology because this is the business terminology, right? So COGS now becomes cost of goods shipped. This is how much my product costs to be manufactured, shipped, and received domestically into the United States. Once you understand your cost of goods shipped, you now have your FBA fees. So you can use the FBA calculator. You can literally go to Google, type in FBA calculator. It's a free resource. And they're going to ask you a series of questions. How much does your product cost? Number one. How much does your shipping cost? Number two. How much do you plan on selling the product for? Number three. What are the dimensions and weight of your product? Number four. Number five. When you answer all those questions in this free resource, it's now going to tell you an estimate of what the fulfillment by Amazon fee is. And the way their ratio is, it's constantly fluctuating. It's the number or 20%, whichever is greater at the time of recording this video. But it will tell you in fine print on the calculator at the time that you're reviewing this video what that is. So when you add all of the information I just shared with you, what it is and how to find it to the calculator, it will spit out a fee. Let's say the fee is $5. Okay? $5 per product. Okay? These are all important things that you need to understand. So my cost per product is $3. If I'm ordering 300 units, right? 300 units, and I divide it by 3, I will get 1, right? So it costs me $1 shipping. $1 shipping. Okay, so my shipping is $1. My product cost is $3. My FBA fee is $5. Now what we do is we add cost per product, which is $3, right? Yep, $3. Then we add cost of shipping. Cost of shipping, which is $1, okay? And then we add cost of FBA, right? Or FBA fees, which we said is $5, okay? Now, when we add all of this up, our total cost is $9. Now, there's two net prices that you want to take into consideration. You have your overall cost of goods shipped, and then what we called prepared. So cost of goods shipped, so you have cost of goods, just product, cost of goods shipped, which is when now your product is manufactured, shipped, and received domestically or internationally. Then you have your cost of goods shipped and fulfilled. So when you add the and fulfilled, what you're doing is you're adding the FBA, which is fulfillment by Amazon. So if you're selling your product for $19.99 and you subtract the $9, then you can see what you're left with, right? So you're left with, what is that? $10.99, right? I suck at math. What's $19.99 minus $9, Z? Yeah, $10.99, that's what I thought. All right, so you're left with $10.99. So $10.99 would be your net. Now, on organic sales, this is your true net. But if you're getting a non-organic sale, which a majority of your sales are going to be in the beginning of your business, this is not your true net. And this is where most people get in the red and they get upside down because they don't understand this simple math. And by the way, guys, I didn't graduate high school, no college education. So you guys that feel like you're confused right now, rewatch this video, learn this very simple, rudimentary, simple math that you need to understand for this business. I don't want to hear any excuses about this is difficult, because my son's got algebra homework and I can't help him, right? So I have no idea. That crap looks like hieroglyphics. So you guys can learn this stuff, okay? So this is your net on organic. Please write this down. Note takers are money makers. If you do not understand this, you're going to lose money in your business. That is organic. Now, when you're running paid traffic, how many of you guys know what ACOS is? Down below, type it into the chat. ACOS. Write this down if you do not know what it is. ACOS is another acronym and terminology that you need to understand. ACOS stands for average cost of sale. So below number 5, you have your ACOS, which is average cost of sale. So on organic sales, meaning people go onto Amazon.com, they type in Aquafina water, just an example, they buy your Aquafina water and not click on an ad, this is your net proceeds. Now, to identify how much money you're making per month, you would multiply which one or two, you multiply this net by the amount of sales. If you're selling 300 per month, you multiply it by one of these, and that tells you how much your true net is. Now, you're going to have a combination of organic and paid. So on your paid side, it's going to show you your average cost of sale, or tacos, which is total cost of sale. So when you're looking at that, let's just say, without breaking down what PPC is and how to run PPC and what this is, all you need to know is when you're running PPC within Amazon's platform, you're going to have a cost of acquisition. Your cost of acquisition means people go to Amazon.com, they type in baseball bat, they don't know who the heck you are because you're a brand new company, a brand new brand, you've never had any sales, you have a few amount of reviews, someone wants to gamble on you or buy your new product, they're going to click on an ad, right? When they click on an ad, you pay Amazon for showing that ad, okay? So let's just say that your average cost of acquisition is $2. So if your average cost of acquisition is $2, then you would subtract $2 from $10.99, which leaves you at $8.99. Now that is your true net for acquiring a paid client, okay? So again, if you're selling this for $19.99, you have your cost per product of $3, your shipping cost at $1, your FBA fees of $5, your overall cost is $9. You sell it for $19.99. Your net proceeds on organic sales are $10.99. If you're running paid traffic, you identify what your cost per acquisition is. Your cost per acquisition is $2. You subtract $10.99 from your net on organic true net, and that gives you your true net on paid costs, which is $8.99. So A cost is a percentage. How do we identify the mathematical equation for this percentage? If I'm selling a product at $20, okay? If I'm selling a product for $20 and my net is $9, okay? I'm just going to show, because I suck with math, I'm just going to do round numbers because it's easier. If I'm selling a product for $20 and my net is $10, okay, I have a 50% profit margin on organic sales. I have a 50% profit margin. That means my ACOS can be up to 50% to break even on paid acquisition. That means when I'm running traffic on PPC, I can spend up to $10 on acquisition to break even. Okay? Now, if you're spending $5, you have a 25% profit margin. So this is how you identify profit margin. This is how you identify your true net on cost of goods shipped, cost of goods fulfilled, on organic and paid. And then this is how you identify your profit margin. How much does the product cost? How much are you selling it for? When you do that math, it'll show you what your profit margin is. And for you to calculate break even on paid ads, you look at your profit margin, you look at your cost per acquisition. Your cost per acquisition cannot surpass your profit margin. Otherwise, you're in a deficit. Now, it's okay to be in a deficit in this business when you're starting, because the way PPC works, without going down a rabbit hole, is you're paying for traffic, you're paying for conversions, and how you rank in Amazon is through a series of metrics within their algorithm, right? It's called the A10 algorithm. It's the most up-to-date algorithm. And the way it works is someone clicks on the ad, they type in a keyword, they click on an ad, they buy your product, you get a point. For every point you get, you move up in the search engine or the ranking from 1 to 1,000, right? Nobody goes nobody goes past the first page, and usually there's 1 to 16, 1 to 25 on the first page. They're constantly fluctuating, but you guys get the gist of it, right? You want to be on the top page. So what I tell people, when you're doing PPC, do it as aggressive as possible. And this all goes back to being an educated entrepreneur or investor. How much are you willing to lose to gain in the long run? One of my mentors, Russell Brunson, says that amateurs monetize the front end, experts monetize the back end. Too many people don't understand this, what I call success math. They get started, they know what their net profit margin is for organic, but you're not going to sell organic unless you have traffic that you control. There's 3 different types of traffic. Traffic that you control, which is I make an Instagram post to my 350,000 followers, they go buy because I've already earned their trust. They know who I am. I can control that traffic. Then you have traffic that you rent. Traffic that you rent is traffic that you rent through paid partnerships, through distributions, through affiliates, through joint ventures. And then there's traffic that you can buy. Traffic that you can buy is through paid media on different platforms like Amazon, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, Google, blogs, pretty much blogs. Those are 7 that you can, that's 7 examples of paid traffic. So we'll screenshot this. Let's change cameras, Z. I'll screenshot this and you guys can have access to this equation and follow. Like if you guys got lost at any point, rewind this, print this out. This thing will be screenshotted and added down below. Download this PDF, print it out, do the re-walkthrough on this video, understand this math right here, because this is the only math that you need to understand to be successful in this business. Once you understand this math, when you're doing product research, you can identify, okay, like why the heck would I be looking for products that I can't afford? That's part of that risk tolerance. So many people are like, I can't find a product. I'm like, well, what is your search criteria? We look at their search criteria. I'm like, bro, do you have $40,000 laying around for products? No. Well, why wouldn't you put a cap on the amount of units that are being sold per month? Because we just said a product that sells 300 units per month at $3 average cost is going to cost $900 in inventory. If we order 3 months of inventory, 9 times 3 is 27. If you don't have $2,700 in inventory, why are you not capping your search at the dollar amount that you can afford? So when you understand this math and you understand what you have access to in terms of capital, then you can reverse engineer what your tolerance is as an investor or an entrepreneur in order to find a product that is successful. Because I genuinely believe successful products are products that are for the people's success, not a magical unicorn that's just like you have to go on this voyage to find. All products sell. Somebody that has millions of dollars to put into a brand with thousands of SKUs may be cool with a lower profit margin of a product that makes $300 to $500 per month. If I have thousands of SKUs, but if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're like really trying to make $800 a month to supplement your mortgage, you know that's your target number, and you know you only have $5,000 to start this business. Start reverse engineering this math. How much inventory shipped, received, fulfilled can I afford? And then let's also account for this advertising, because I need to advertise in order to get sales. Once you understand this, you'll say, oh crap, I need a product that sells X amount of units at around X amount of profit margin or dollar amount per product, and it needs to sell this amount of units because I can't afford more. Does that make sense? So when you understand this math, you can literally get to whatever it is. The AMZ formula, and when I coach and teach, we talk about $3,000 to $10,000. That's the sweet spot for a majority of people that are beginners or first-time entrepreneurs. You can find products that make $100,000 a month. You can find products that make more. The reason why I don't teach it is because it's not realistic for people when it comes to the risk to reward factor, right? Fantastic question. I know that took up some time, but we haven't really broken down that math, and that math is very, very important. Where am I at, E? Rose said that your kid's course is life-changing. The course has encouraged my kid to learn and get involved in the business. That's absolutely phenomenal. In fact, that actually brings joy to my heart and made my day. So for those of you guys that don't know what the children's course are, I'll never sell it. We have tons of courses that I create that I only give to our members within the AMZ Formula Max and our Inner Circle, which is our 2 mentorship programs that we offer. Inside of Max and Inner Circle, you get access to a children's course that I developed. So I have a child that's 8 and I have a child that's 13. So everything that I do is kind of like for them as well. And I think about them and their learning style. So there's tons of parents that want their kids to have a business or possibly build a business with them. So the whole goal of this, I took some of the top things that you should know in terms of financial literacy for children in the age of 5 to 13, and then some different like frequently asked questions and lessons about this business, about branding, supply and demand, all this stuff that they're not teaching our children in school. And then I hired a voiceover. I hired a cartoonist to draw animated cartoons. We hired someone to put special music behind it and tie it all together in like this, what we call edutainment, which is something that's informational and educational that the children can watch, right? And that's something that you guys get as part of our program. So that's phenomenal to get feedback on that, Rose. I really appreciate it. Kirby says, am I qualified to join the private Facebook group? Also, I have a pending patent with the USPTO. After my approval, is there anything you guys can do to assist me? Kirby, so I don't know what you mean about qualified. So we have a free Facebook group, and then we have Facebook groups for different clients. If you're a member of any of our programs, just email support@theamzformula.com. All of our team is here live with us, and just say, hey, I'm a member of blank. Here's my receipt. I need access to all of my resources. Another thing for anybody who's watching that's a part of any of our programs, guys, every single year we're improving all of the programs. There's resources, courses, updated videos, depending on what program you're in and when you joined. So you're never going to like Lucifer's never going to come out of hell and like yell at you if you email our support and are like, hey, I joined 3 years ago. What's new with the program? If you invested in any of our programs, we're constantly working to improve them. And if you haven't been in them in a while, email us and be like, hey, what's new with the program? And one of our team members will respond, right? But we want you guys to utilize all the resources. So if you're in Max, you have weekly coaching with different coaches. If you're in Inner Circle, you have weekly coaching calls with different coaches, plus access to calls like this with me. You have access to different courses like Mindset Mastery, which is a mindset course that I've done with all my top frameworks, fundamentals to having a multi-million-dollar mindset and having a successful and impenetrable mindset that you need, that I feel is mandatory to be successful at a certain consent. All of that, you get all of that for free when you come into those programs. Hey Josh, on Jungle Scout, how important is opportunity score? Don't even pay attention to it. I hate that. I've put in personal recommendations to remove it. So from a software perspective, so you have from software, there's all these software companies coming out, and then when software companies come out, they come out with all these bells and whistles. I think Helium 10 is the one that caused the majority of this, and then people just start rambling and adding extra crap to their software to say new and improved and new stuff. I don't like the Jungle Scout. I don't like, and I'm not gonna, because it sounds like I'm blaming or shaming Jungle Scout. I don't like opportunity algorithms at all, because it takes away human interaction and human due diligence. You cannot replace human due diligence with some algorithm, because an algorithm is programmed based off of one human's experience or one human's KPIs or metrics. So first and foremost, these softwares do not explain to you or show you transparently what factors go into this opportunity score. So I may teach you several ways to find a product, and then you may find a product that is a winner for you, but an algorithm that you don't know what the prefixes or presets or the KPIs tied to are, and it says that it's a high competition, high demand. So, and then you'll just bypass a successful product. So honestly, when I started, that didn't exist. And when I started, a majority of these softwares didn't exist at all. So I believe, and again, my personal opinion, I believe that the more that you become dependent on AI, artificial intelligence, to do work for you that you should be doing, the more highly your chances are of failing are, because these are just automations that are set in place for the masses as a marketing benefit. Like, we offer this, 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 and this. So I train people in our programs not to pay attention to it, because what you'll notice, if subconsciously, consciously after me saying this, if you go do product research, when you type in the filters and you hit calculate or search, you will now notice that your eye is trained to immediately go to the top right-hand corner of the Chrome extension where this opportunity score is, because you're it's just lazy human tendency. We're lazy. We want fast results. We want to do the least amount of work as possible. It's just the way that our society is becoming, unfortunately. So I try to train yourself consciously not to look at that, because what's crazy is you can find a bad opportunity score and then literally change the chronological order. So in softwares, when you click the top where let's just say it says revenue, monthly revenue, if you click that, it will rearrange from descending to ascending chronological order. And believe it or not, it's pulling you that first page data. So that opportunity score is coming off that first page data. Well, when you click it and you rearrange the ascending order or chronological order, I've seen that thing go from a 4 to a 7. So I personally don't review it. I don't recommend that you pay too much mind to it. Geez, it's been an hour already? Yeah. I want to make sure all these questions get knocked out. What is one piece of advice you could have gave your future self? You could have give your future self. Oh man,
The recent YouTube
did I do one on that?
video, you had top 5 things I would tell my younger self.
Oh, so my video production manager said to watch our recent video. I think it's top 5 things. What top 5 things?
I wish I would have told my younger self.
Top 5 things I wish I would have told my younger self. So that video's for you. So I would watch that video after this. But like one of the biggest mistakes that I made, this is difficult. Let me think about this strategically here. I would say honestly, like one of my biggest mistakes that I made is falling victim to like analysis paralysis. Like there's a difference between being frugal. There's a difference between being like quantitative and like analysis based and results based. And then there's a difference between like you just being like I almost cursed on you, like you just being scared or like you not what's a good word that lacks profanity? Like you just not having the courage, right, to do something. Because like what I've learned is the highest results that I've gotten across my different businesses came from the highest level of discomfort. So the first time I publicly spoke, like, and the first time I started doing digital training, I significantly increased my revenue. Like comfort is often tied to lack of growth, right? If you think about it, like a majority of obese people are usually comfort, with the exception of like clinical disorders and stuff like that. People who are obese are often comfortable. They chill, they sit on the couch, they don't do anything. There's no discomfort. So the people who are in extremely good condition or in good shape are constantly doing uncomfortable things. Even people who love calisthenics or working out or the gym are not going to tell you that it is pleasant doing what they have to do in order to get what they have, right? But it's the discipline and the knowing, if I put myself through this level of uncomfort, I'm going to get results that I want, right? So it's like that fine bridge between what you need to do and where you want to be, and understanding that it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to lose sleep. You're going to lose rest. You're going to lose money. All of these are mandatory in order for you to get to the next level or shed your current skin, figuratively speaking, is something that I would like really talk to my younger self or even future self about. Is there another option where your clients are not paying $1,500 monthly right of the gate for done private label option? So I don't know, Eli. I'm interested in jumping on board with that. Just a little hesitant thinking on that overhead first month. What did you say, honey? So my wife's here. She thinks that you're talking about PPC. I'm not 100% sure, but if you're regarding the PPC management, like I just broke down the success math for a successful business. Like the successful business does not exist without the cost per acquisition. So if you don't have a vehicle to acquire customers and you have a fantastic product, fantastic brand, you're not going to get any sales, right? Like you can have Salt Bay in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle, but if there's no foot traffic, there's no vehicle traffic, there's no paid ads, nobody knows it exists there, no one's going to go to this 5-star steak restaurant, right? So if you look at Nurserit, which is the name of the restaurant in Salt Bay, who's like a top restaurant, top 5-star restaurant, one of the most successful restaurant rings in the world, he's in very high trafficked area, like in Miami and in Dubai, where tons of people are seeing them. So the most important component to launching a product and getting sales and getting reviews is cost per acquisition and having some type of acquisition marketing in place. Now, you don't have to do PPC, but if you don't do PPC, like, are you an influencer? Are you an existing business owner with a client list? Like, how are you going to get clients to buy your product? Now, the goal is to get this organic purchases, which means people are buying your product without you paying for them to buy your product. But when you're like brand new and you don't have many reviews, you don't have depth of market, you don't have brand notoriety, like no one knows you, you're not on the first page, it's very difficult for people to find you outside of referrals. So what I like to look at PPC is like, of course, the couple months you may be break even or you may be in the deficit. However, remember, amateurs monetize the front end. Like amateurs are the ones that will be crippled at the thought of investing in a business and going into a deficit for 12 weeks in order to go into a positive for 3 years. You see what I'm saying? So most people are hindered by the small term thinking, and it hinders long-term results, right? So a part of this business, you have to invest in order to have a return on investment. And for you to have a return on investment, there's a time period. So you have to think about it. And I completely agree. Like it's frustrating and there's anxiety like, okay, I have to pay all this money to get sales, to lose money, to get ranking. Like, it doesn't make sense. But trust me, like, this is a tried and true method. It's not just something I created. This is the way the business, the industry works, right? In fact, like, even in traditional brick and mortar, like, if you have an amazing product and you go pitch it to Walmart or pitch it to any brick and mortar retail store or franchise, they're going to start with a small test batch in a few of their top high trafficked locations, and then geographic locations. And then they're going to actually put them in the highest viewed, highest trafficked area of the actual facility, right? So if you go into Walmart or any retail chain, the outer aisles, so you have your aisles and then the shelves that are on the outer aisles, that product is not randomly placed there. Those products are all seasonal, trending, or tested products. If you ever notice, now you're consciously will start looking like, holy crap, these are new flavors. Holy crap, this stuff is seasonal for Halloween that's coming up. That makes sense. That's where the highest visibility is, right? And then in terms of performance, if you think about placement and rack size, most racks are about 7 foot and the typical American's around 5'6". So why are the racks 10 foot? Because on average, half of 10 foot is 5 foot, which is eye level for the traditional American. And at 5 foot eye level is going to be the highest sell-through rate products. So when you go to these physical retail stores, your eye level products are going to be the products that sell the most. They have predominant resale. They have predominant real estate on these shelves, right? So all of these are mathematical equations, and the only way they can come up with that data is through paying, right? Doing paid testing. So I wouldn't look at it, man, as like you're going to lose money. And here's the thing. You're losing money in opportunity cost by not running advertisement, number one, because you don't know the true potential of the product. Number two, if you find an amazing product and you don't run advertising, the product could actually absolutely be crushing and you'll never get to the potential because you've never tested it and launched it properly. And then number three, if the product is not going to do the results that you want or you desire through paid marketing, it doesn't take much dollar to be able to identify, okay, this product is not pushing the amount of product that I would like it to. So you can nimbly, keyword nimbly, move to the next product. Remember, like, if you're starting this business and the first one has to change your life, like, this is not the business for you. Like, this is not the lottery. It's not like a magical unicorn that nobody's experienced. This is a real business model that people have been doing for hundreds of years. It's just now being done digitally and through one of the largest companies in the world, which is Amazon, right? So it's all the same stuff. Great question, though. Let's keep rolling. Hey, man, can you explain Amazon Global Logistics pros and cons? So like the quick answer to that, because we're already over the hour, the quick answer to that is a lot of people, like, they get like the carriage gets ahead of the cart, figuratively speaking. So I recommend, depending on whatever country that you live in, that you focus on the United States. United States is the largest marketplace. Second largest marketplace is the European United Kingdom marketplace, and the third largest marketplace outside of Europe being number 2 and the US being number 1 is going to be Canada. I would focus on those three when you're looking at global expansion. I would not, and like, I want to iterate this, I would not recommend global expansion until you're at a ceiling with your UPC, with your SKUs or your ASINs in one global region. So what is a ceiling? So for instance, if I have a product that's top 10 on first page and I cannot spend more paid traffic, because you can spend as much paid traffic as you want to spend, but it's only going to spend what people are searching. So if you're capped at $300 a day in PPC and you keep trying to up it, but there's not enough clicks, that is your ceiling. Once you're at profitability, you're at highly optimized SKUs and products, and you're at that ceiling, then you can do your due diligence in geographic locations and positioning to see what other geographic regions will support my product. So you want to look at demographics, you want to look at geographics, and you want to do surveys through different third-party websites, one of free ones being Google Trends, to see historically, is your product being researched, being bought, and being promoted in different countries. So I would do Google Trends, and I would also do Google Ad Keyword Planner to see what the search volume is in these different regions. For instance, a hot sauce is going to perform very well in Latin America, right? It will not in Antarctica. So like, think about that. That's just an easy way for you to digest and understand. So identify that. The benefit of it is it can definitely increase your sales, and it can definitely help with an evaluation if you're selling globally, because now like an investor could acquire your company and get it into even more stores, right? One of the things they look at is global expansion. They look at sell-through rate and they look at profitability. Cool. Any more questions, brother? You're very welcome, Kirby. Okay, cool. Awesome. Was that it, brother?
Yeah, someone asked earlier, what do you think of the 7-figure arbitrage sellers netting 10 to 15%? Is it the same way with private label?
So the question is, what do you think about arbitrage sellers that are generating like millions of dollars, or successful arbitrage sellers? I know a lot of people that sell arbitrage successfully. Like one of them is actually my friend. He's got an awesome YouTube channel. His name is Steve Rakin. His channel, I believe, is Rakin Profits. Shout out to Steve. So my 2 cents and personal opinion when it comes to arbitrage, it is very good for someone with low capital who needs fast money, because you're selling already vetted, profitable, sustainable products with huge reputations where you don't have to advertise. You can sell them fast and make a quick, turnover of profits. I did that when I was broke and needed fast money, right? When I was starting my businesses, building my businesses, building my cash flow, needed to provide for my family. I did a lot of arbitrage. I would go to Goodwill and resell clothes. I would go and I would buy stuff at discounted rates and resell it. I did arbitrage. My personal opinion, like, it's against like what I see success at. Success for me comes to like freedom and mobility and like location independence and no like time restrictions. So when it comes to arbitrage in person, so physical arbitrage, you have to go to these places and it's a job and it's time consuming. And I don't like doing that. Like your Amazon business can be worked on with this thing during your spare time from anywhere in the world. So that's what I really liked. Like, is traveling around the world for the last several years, before COVID and stuff, just, and that thing printing money every single month. You can do it with online arbitrage, and you can definitely do it. And you can have VAs like do the research for you, so it automates it and reduces a lot of the thing. The thing I don't like about it is you can't sell an arbitrage business. Like, that's just a hustle. And you can put systems in place, like hiring VAs to find you these things and even list them and manage everything. So it's kind of automated. That's what a lot of these crap gurus who sell drop shipping services, that's what they're doing. But like, it's not sustainable. It's like your probability of getting your account shut down is huge. Number one. Number two, the profit margins aren't there. Number three, there's no intellectual property. Number four, like, you can't sell that business really. It's a hustle. Number five, like, it's just like a poor, like, ran business in my personal opinion, unless you're doing it yourself. Like another homie of mine is like Reezy Resells. He's got a huge YouTube channel. He's huge on Instagram. Like, shout out to them. They're hustlers. Like, if you love hustling, you love doing it, and it's like fun to you, and you do it with your wife or your kids, that's cool. But like for me, I am like a rich lazy. I want to make as much money as humanly possible with the least amount of effort and be able to do whatever I want, whenever I want. That's like my main priority. That may not be your main priority, and that's absolutely fine. Like, but for me, it's like, yo, how do I spend more time doing what I like and have a sustainable, equitable business? Like, when it comes to Amazon businesses, e-commerce businesses, supply and demand businesses, brands have some of the highest EBITDAs. Like, I'm not talking about softwares, and I'm not talking about B2B businesses. I'm talking about in physical product-based businesses. Private label brands have huge EBITDAs, right? And they have intellectual property, and they can be sold for a multiple. It's a tangible, living, breathing asset. So that's my personal opinion.
The last question was, how would you transition from a China-based supplier to a U.S.-based?
Last question is, how would you transition from a Chinese-based supplier or international-based supplier to United States supplier? So first and foremost, I would identify, why would I consider transitioning? So if you think that the competitive edge of being a US-based product or business is going to exponentially increase your business, my personal opinion is that you're wrong for a majority of the cases, because United States-based suppliers usually have less quality, less capacity, less quality, less capacity, and higher price. And this is, again, my first products were manufactured in the U.S. I partnered with a U.S. manufacturer. I've dealt with international and domestics manufacturing. It's just the truth. Majority of the raw products are in China. The cheapest labor in the world is in China. There's just multiple benefits. The thing that sucks is logistics. But by the time you look at the pricing and the logistics, so the cost of goods plus cost of goods shipped, and then you go check pricings and availability and capacity restriction limitations within U.S. suppliers, it's like you can't even compete. That's why the top brands in the world are all made in China. This is the highest quality consumer grade electronical product business, private label brand, $1 trillion company in the world. On the back, it's made in China, right? So there, you don't think that they would love to brag made in the United States? That's why on the back it says designed in California, manufactured in China. So trust me, $1 trillion companies have tried to do it. If they can't sustainably manufacture and facilitate in the United States, I mean, chances are you can't, right? Can it be done? Can it make sense? Yes, chances are it can't. My personal opinion. Top brands, highest quality. Sony, like you look at the Sony in the camera industry, because I'm looking at Sony's staring at me, like all this stuff, like all these high quality products are all derived internationally. So it's just the way it is. But if you were to transition and the numbers did work for you, what I would do is the United States manufacturer would have my product, and I would be having them create samples, and I would be reviewing them, and I would come up with a testing structure, a comparison chart. So what I would do is create a Venn diagram, which is the two circles that overlap each other, right? And then I would do same, different, same, different, needs to be changed, right? And I would come up with that chart and see, okay, what are they doing that's close? What needs to be improved and what's different? And I would work on that. And I would try to not only get to the quality that I'm currently at, but also surpass it. And if you could achieve that and be at your margins and not only have them take over your current manufacturing capacity, but your future capacity, one of the biggest mistakes I made is not doing future projections. You have to look at where you're at and where you want to go. Remember I said my friend Alex Hormozy talks about starting your business, how you would like to end it. How many of you guys want to end it in an 8 or 9 figure exit? What you're selling at an 8 or 9 figure exit is different what you're selling at a $10,000 a month. So if you're going to build a relationship and do your research and finding a manufacturer, what is their future? Like, what is your future growth projection? How many units are going to need to be manufactured? And identify and make sure that they can grow at your pace. Within capacity reasons. Capacity is going to be time frames for manufacturing, and it's also going to be for manufacturing quantities. So you have capacity and time frames, and you have capacities within quantities. These are two of the main variables and reasons why, like, you could literally get severed at the throat when it comes to scaling. Because if Q4 comes up and you're growing 20% month after month, which I did, and then you say, hey, I need 60,000 units. Hey, I need 20,000 units. Hey, I need 40,000 units. Hey, I need X amount of units. And it's quantifiably exponentially more than what you're used to ordering, and they don't have that capacity, you're screwed. Because now the competitor who does have the capacity will take all of the business from you. So these are things that you have to think about. This is stuff that you're not going to find on these YouTube channels where people are just affiliate marketing crap and trying to sell courses. This is stuff that you have to have 7 years of industry experience and millions of dollars in sales to be able to understand. And that's what we do here on the channel. So I appreciate you guys. By the way, like, if you guys are new to the channel or you're returning to the channel, take a look right now at the subscribe button. If it does not say subscribed, hit that button. Click it right now. Let's do it together. Click that button right now. Next to it is a bell. Click the bell, because, like, if I was to do this, if you were to contact my assistant and say, I want Josh to evaluate my business, break all this down, and I want to do this one-on-one, if I even accepted it, because I would much rather play like the brand new Call of Duty right now than do this, I do this because I want you guys to win. Like, notice I didn't sell anything on here. I'm asking you guys to subscribe. That's free. It takes 1/100th of a second for you guys to do. If you're to reach out to my company, I probably would say no, but if I were to say yes, it'd be $15,000 minimum for an hour of my time. And I would probably still say no. Like, we refund people all the time because, like, this stuff has made me tens of millions of dollars. Like, so $25,000, $30,000 for me giving you what's made me 8 figures, and my time playing with my dog or playing video games is just not worth it anymore, right? Because I'm where I want to be at in life. So it's like, while I'm still doing this, take advantage of it. Show up every week. Nobody else on YouTube. I challenge you to go find another Amazon educator in the space that is giving you this level of education and this level of production, and share them with me, and I'll give you $150 cash. I'll cash app you right now if you can find someone else that has 4K multi-cameras, live whiteboards, and has results, tens of millions of dollars in results, who's giving you their time live, and I'll give you $150. You won't find someone. So there's an often saying, if you don't pay, you don't pay attention. And if there's no transaction, there's no transformation. So act as if you wired me $15,000 for this information, because it is genuinely worth it. Execute on this information. Don't become addicted to education and allergic to execution, because you can learn all single day. You can order my book. You can join my programs. You can show up every week. If you don't execute this and you're just taking notes and taking notes and taking notes, mental or physical, you're never going to get any results. So choose execution over excuses. Don't become allergic to education. Don't be addicted to education, allergic to execution. Again, make sure you subscribe right now. Click the notification bell every single week. Friday, 30 Minutes with a Millionaire, which is an hour and 15 minutes. Every single week, we drop a brand new YouTube exclusive series called 7-Figure Product Series. I put up my own money. I do my own research with my team to find you products that are generating $1 million cash net per year, right? So check out that series. If you want to learn how to do packaging, how to do product research, how to develop products, more about the business, you don't think the business works and you're a skeptic, watch the content on the channel. More content than anybody else, highest quality, the only person doing lives who wants you to win. So that's what you get here on the channel. I appreciate you guys. God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next one.